The officials who will work the second ACC semifinal this afternoon. Lenny works in the middle, flanked by Tom Frame and Paul Houseman. Billy, there's some great individual players, obviously, in this league. In this semifinal, you've got Mark Price, a player who just seems to thrive on tournaments.
Well, he has in 4 tournaments in his college career. He has won MVP. Last year, of course, the biggest one, winning the MVP, the Everett Case Award, here in the ACC tournament.
Price had a great game yesterday. So did John Sally, and Sally seems to be becoming an impact player again.
Absolutely. It just seems like he's reached his comfort zone on the court. And he's averaging close to 17 points a game, and he's shooting over 73% from the field. So you can just tell right from those stats he has reached his comfort zone.
Len Bias did not shoot well last night, but I think he impressed everybody by the fact that he didn't stop working.
Well, I ran into an old friend and not a bad basketball player, Oscar Robinson, and he came over to me and said, that Bias is a player. Now, Len Bias only shot 5 for 14 from the floor, and what Oscar was saying was he saw a complete basketball player, a player that had the ability, when he was struggling from the field, to contribute in other areas, especially on the boards where he had 13 last night.
I think the key to this game, as it has been in the last 6 or 7 games from Maryland, to play of their guards.
No question, in every game recently that they've played well, their guards have come out, been very aggressive at the offensive end of the court, and this has opened up the court and allowed Len Bias to be more of a team player, and they're not relying on him to just carry them all the way, and you're just seeing the great performance by this Maryland team winning their last 5 out of 6 games.
Len Bias at 6'8" steps into the center circle against 7-foot John Sally, and we are set to go from Greensboro, North Carolina, the second ACC semifinal. The winner meets Duke tomorrow afternoon for the championship, and it's Georgia Tech and Dwayne Farrell with a basketball.
Well, a player that's given Maryland a difficult time is John Sally, so over the last few games. So I'm sure they're going to be very conscious, and they'll be rotating a lot of players to defend against him.
He's being guarded by Terry Long right now. Freshman Tom Hammonds hits his first shot. Hammonds has not played like a freshman since day one.
Well, he struggled a little last night, though. He only had 2 field goal attempts and made 1, so I'm sure Bobby Kerns is very pleased to see him get out of the box early.
Gatlin and Baxter were so hot yesterday, especially in the second half. And this is Derek Lewis. Line drives one home from 4 feet. Mark Price gives it off to Sally. Baxter took a swipe at it.
I like what Long is doing right now defensively on Sally, outside pressuring him, not allowing him to have those easy passing lanes, and he is just an outstanding passer, Sally.
Price works on Baxter, way short on the jumper, and we'll have a jump ball situation underneath. Alternating possession gives the ball to Maryland.
Just good defense, forced a tough shot by Price.
Baxter and Gatlin in Maryland's backcourt. Gatlin with 18 points and 8 assists last night. Already owns the ACC tournament record with 23. He's on a pace to break that if Maryland could win this game and get in the finals. They lost the 2 regular season games, but both were close. Bias over Dwayne Farrell, who was right in his face.
Well, all they did is isolate Bias on the court. He took what the defense gave him, and that was the jump shot. Anytime he gets the ball posted up, though, they will double team him.
Dalrymple baseline. Long and Lewis each got a piece, and it's out of bounds to Georgia Tech.
Well, I'd hate to have to guard Dalrymple because he's such a physical player, and he just beats those guards up.
Kansas has beaten Oklahoma 72-70. The Sooners gave them fits, and they've had a lot of trouble lately. But Kansas, looking more and more like a potential national champion, won that one today.
Just moving the basketball against the zone. There's the man they have to get the ball to against the zone for those shots.
Farrell left alone, buries it, tied at 4 with 18:09 to go first half.
I'm sure he's ecstatic to be healthy and playing in this tournament after sitting out last year without the injuries.
Gatlin working on Dalrymple. Misses his first crack, and Sally with a rebound. This is Price. Bad pass, Sally saved it.
Bad pass because the good intensity defensively by this Maryland ball club.
Dalrymple comes back out. Now Price wants to set it up again. Georgia Tech's all-time leading assists and theft man. And the second leading scorer, only about 150 points short of Rich Youngkus' all-time record. Farrell, hot early.
Just excellent execution, great poise by the Georgia Tech ball club. They didn't have anything at the offensive end of the court, and their team leader out there, Mark Price, brought it back, set it up, and they got the good shot.
Farrell has 4. Georgia Tech 6 points. He had 30 yesterday. Now he's got a steal. 2-on-2. Price wants to go all the way and drew the foul from Gatlin, and Gatlin will help him up.
Well, on that play, Price, the one thing he was going to do, we'll take a look at it, and I'll explain as we go along. Farrell, great defense, overplaying. Now Price sees Gatlin, and he knows he's going to have a problem. He forces the contact, making sure that he's going to get to the foul line.
Make sure he leaned into that one. Price has hit 26 straight free throws in the ACC tournament. He loves the pressure of the situation. Last night had a big night. Hitting 85% of his free throws on the season.
One thing about this Georgia Tech, we saw them get out and get the running opportunity out of transition. But with the athletes they have, I know Bobby Kremitz would like to see his team running and getting out and getting those easy opportunity baskets, because you look at their front line, there's some athletes up there for this Georgia Tech team.
8-4, the Jackets on top. Bias working hard, he wants the basketball.
Well, Farrell is doing a great job now denying him the basketball. Now there's the double team.
He just goes so high on that jumper. Once he's in position, you're not going to stop him.
Well, what he did is he got the basketball and turned and shot it so quickly, the double team coming down from Price was not able to get there in time.
4 for Len Bias, Maryland's all-time leading scorer, surpassed Albert King a couple of games ago. Sally, really looking to shoot.
No, that's what I was just going to say.
Price tries to bank one in. Long kept it alive. There's that Dalrymple, had it blocked by Lewis.
That's a great block by Lewis. The thing that he did, though, after it is, besides blocking it, he'll keep the ball in play, and his teammates able to get it back. Baxter, and they pick up the foul.
A lot of guys bigger than Lewis, who is 6'7", but you have to have great timing to be a shot blocker, and he's got it.
He's got that quickness.
Maryland down by 2. They have the basketball.
And I think that's one of the reasons Lefty went to him for the first play of the game, to get him involved offensively.
Terry Long can't get the jumper, but he does draw the foul.
Isn't it interesting to watch this Maryland team now, how that we've seen them now post up Derek Lewis, and they come down and they look to get the ball into Long. A month ago, these guys, the only way they would get the basketball is off the offensive board.
That's right.
Confidence.
And it seems that Lewis and Long play with much more confidence when the guards are playing well. That's what they expected out of Len Bias. Long hits the free throw.
And to this point, we haven't heard anything from Baxter or Gatlin.
That's right. And yet Maryland is within a point at 8-7. Long way short on that one. This is going to be off Georgia Tech, out to the Terps. And Tom Jones will get in the ball game for the first time, and Lewis is going to get a breather.
Well, Tom Jones is one of the players in this Terp ball club with Baxter, Gatlin, and Jones that have really emerged and have given that offensive punch to this ball club, and have them playing at the level they're playing right now.
Well, the way they played in the last 3 weeks, they can play with anybody.
Roy Farrell is just working his tail off, looking to deny that basketball to Bias, and he's got to have a lot of help on the weak side when he fronts him down low, because they'll look for that lob pass.
Baxter with Price on him. Leans into a tough shot, draws the foul on Price. That's a nice move by Baxter.
Well, what happened is Price leaves his feet at the defensive end of the court. Good call by the official. He committed himself defensively, and Baxter picks up the foul. Defensively, you never leave your feet that way until the man is going up for the shot, and all you do is you go straight up to contest the shot. You don't want to pick up the cheap foul.
Baxter, the senior out of Washington, D.C., been double figures 5 of his last 6 ball games. Boy, was he on fire last night. 21 points on 8 out of 14 from the floor, some from downtown. That young man waited a long time, Billy, to get playing time in this Maryland program, and I'm sure he is loving the last part of his senior season. Timeout on the court. 15:37 to go in the first half. Maryland by 1.
This is the average family most financial plans are made for. But at Pilot Life, we know families are made of real people. not statistics. That's why Pilot Life representatives never take an average approach. All people differ. Their goals, their problems, their needs, and of course their dreams. That's why no two Pilot Life financial plans are ever exactly alike. And that's why they all work.
Last year, car makers spent over $1 billion in advertising just to tell you how wonderful their cars are. Fortunately, there is a more objective opinion, car owners. According to a recent survey of all the cars in America, import or domestic, now, for the second year in a row, car owners rated Subaru second only to Mercedes-Benz in customer satisfaction. And that's the kind of advertising money can't buy.
Test drive a new 1986 Subaru at your local dealer today.
It's not easy making phones as well as AT&T.
July 85 to January 86, fracture. August 84 to March 85, button failure. April 83 to June 84, static.
Nice try, but only AT&T's been making reliable phones that sound loud and clear for over 100 years.
Hello?
You get what you pay for. AT&T, the right choice.
Maryland has been on fire lately, as you see, winning 7 of their last 9. That includes last night's tournament win. The interesting thing about that, of the 2 losses, 1 was against Clemson with the 3 players suspended. And Billy, the other one that really stands out is the loss to this team, Georgia Tech, when Georgia Tech just shot lights out in the second half.
Well, they shot 86% in the second half and over 70% for the game. You're just not going to beat anyone shooting at that with those numbers.
And they only won by 7 points.
I know. And the other game against Georgia Tech down there, the game was 68-67, and Maryland had the basketball and had the last shot of the game to win. Here they come out and look to trap.
This is Price, and he walked, and he knew it.
That was a great job by Coach Drizel. He came out, showed a different look. They looked for the trap on the first pass. They didn't have it. They were just dropping back into his zone.
You guys are tricky. You know that?
Well, I wasn't too tricky.
15 minutes, 16 seconds to go. First half to play. Maryland by 1.
I think Maryland's answered the question, are they ready emotionally? Are they ready mentally to come out here and play and come out with an attitude to beat this Georgia Tech team after clinching an NCAA bid?
Lob pass into Bias over the double team. Farrell did everything he could to keep him from getting it, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, I think Farrell, or that was Hammonds, I think, still should have gone up and looked to contest that shot a little bit more. He just stood there with his arms extended.
Sally to the baseline, way short on the jumper and long with the rebound.
Well, the last 2 times they've caused the turnover and the quick shot by Sally. They're just doing the job at the defensive end of the court.
This is Keith Gatlin, guarded by Price. Gatlin last night really turned into a one-on-one player.
I would think there's the man that's got the shot because Sally's playing him.
Speedy Jones from downtown knocks it through, and Maryland's up by 5, 13-8.
That's a tough matchup for Georgia Tech because we know Speedy Jones can shoot that jump shot, and that's taking Sally away from the basket, and that could be a factor, even if he misses it, that they could be on the offensive boards and hurt the Georgia Tech team.
Hammonds in the lane, and that stops a streak of 9 straight points for Maryland. The announcers for this game are approved and selected by Raycom Sports, Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions. Any rebroadcast, duplication, or reception without the express written permission of Raycom Sports, Jefferson Pilot Teleproduction is prohibited. Long has it, blocked by John Sally, and it's out of bounds to the Jackets.
Here's the pass inside. Hammonds just rolling right into the lane, lost his man, Bias. I don't know where Bias was. I think he went out for a Coke or something. Here's the trap.
They get it inside to Farrell. Good ball move. Missed the shot, but they will get the foul line.
Now, one thing, it will take a look at nice bounce pass by Dalrymple. Inside, Bias picks up the foul. Now, what happened was that they were looking, Maryland, to come out and double team trap Mark Price, but he read the trap coming and was able to move the basketball before the trap became effective.
Farrell, a good free throw shooter, hit all 4 yesterday, shooting better than 75% for the season. Derek Lewis will come back in for Maryland. That's 5 points for Farrell, and Terry Long will get a breather.
Looks like the same sport jacket for Lefty. I guess he figured he won last night with that one. He's going to wear the same one today.
He's that way.
You can't believe how superstitious you can become as a coach. I remember Jack Ramsey. He wore the same pants and jacket, I bet you it was for 6 or 7 games when he was coaching the Philadelphia 76ers, and we almost wanted to lose a game so we could see we started to smell a little bit.
Got pretty lonely after the game, didn't it? And we've got an offensive foul. That's 2 on Lenny Bias as he got the forearm in there. 2 in a hurry on Bias.
Right now, it's big decision time for Lefty because of the outstanding offensive players on the Georgia Tech club. They might look to isolate or go in against Bias this next few times down the court to try to get him to the bench. And this Maryland team, I don't know, they haven't played very much basketball without Len Bias on the court.
Georgia Tech down by 2, and now they're going to get Tom Jones for a hold. That's 1 on Jones. And quickly the 4th team foul against Maryland.
You see them Maryland's going right to the zone. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them play this if they have any success with the zone against Georgia Tech. To look to use it a little bit longer than they normally would to keep him out of foul trouble.
Dalrymple, who doesn't normally shoot outside, misses. Baxter with a rebound, and he's fouled.
He went up and got that basketball, I'll tell you. Now here's the shot, and they'll give Dalrymple that shot all day. There's Baxter coming in, doing an excellent job on the defensive boards, and that's such a factor for the guards to contribute on the defensive boards, especially when you're in a zone, because you're not matched up and can't box out.
Baxter on the nice pass from Lenny Bias. Jeff Baxter has 4 points, and Maryland has a 4-point lead.
There they are, back in that zone. And we'll see how active it is. Now, one big factor for this Maryland team is when they're good and aggressive, active defensively, they're just a different ball club.
Sally with a great drive on the baseline. I was a little surprised that Mark Price didn't unload the jumper over that zone. He loves to see them.
That right there, that was just a great athletic move by Sally.
Seems to be so much more effective away from the basket. This is Gatlin drilling one from 18. When Sally is back at that forward spot on offense, he is so much more effective than when you put him down in the pivot.
Well, you can see that he's not a big, strong, physical player. He has to rely on his quickness and finesse.
Price, who is yet to unload one of those long-range rainbows.
Yeah, more than that, though, Mike. He's not even looking at the basket from the top of the key.
There he goes. Missed that one. Sally. And Georgia Tech's back within 2 as John Sally has 2 quick hoops.
Well, that's one of the problems when you go to a zone. Difficult to check people out. You're just playing an area of the court instead of a man.
Gatlin to Baxter. No shot available, and they'll kick it back outside. Here come the Jackets with Price on the run.
That was just a great play, and I'll tell you why that was a great play. He used the defensive man, Speedy Jones, who was getting back and had his back turned.
Used him for a screen?
Yeah, used him as a screen. Just a smart play basketball-wise.
17 all, 10 minutes, 42 seconds to go. First half of play. Lewis and Sally really shoving inside. Lewis got it by him somehow.
I don't know what Lefty has told Mr. Lewis over the last couple of weeks, but it appears that they had a long talk because this young man is coming out and playing the way everyone had anticipated him to play this year in the ACC.
Sally, ball knocked away, saved in the Hammonds. And he throws it away. Baxter and Price after it, and Price will come out with it. What a job by Price. Quickly ahead to Dalrymple, and they got an advantage, and Price burns it. Is he something to watch?
What a hustler.
Mark Price was 6.
Yeah, that's a 4-point play. Very easily could have been. There was 2 men he had to beat from the Maryland team to get possession.
Lewis blocked by Sally, and Price gets it. They love to run. 3 on 3. Farrell! Holy cow!
Now that's what I love to see about this Georgia Tech team. When they have the ability to get out and run, And you saw Farrell, what a great athlete. And the athletes of today are at their best when they have that open court and they can show those individual moves that they have.
Bias wants the ball, gets it 20 feet away. Farrell all over him. The shot won't go, but they'll call Farrell for the foul rather, and the Georgia Tech bench is really upset about it.
Well, here's the play, the fast break. Price getting the ball into the middle where he has all the different options. There's Bias defending it as well as you can, and Farrell just a great offensive move.
2 on Farrell, and Bias will go to the free throw line where it's you can mark it in the book. He was 10 of 11 last night. That's an off night for him.
Every time you say that, the person misses. Let's see. Oh, well, just checking. But that
I'll get letters and everything.
You're kidding.
Oh, no. 7 for Lenny Bias. Has a chance to tie his Maryland Terrapins with Tech at 21.
That wasn't a good shot by Lenny Bias. Even though he got fouled, he had a teammate on the wing. He could have dished off for an uncontested jump shot.
Antoine Ford gets his first rebound as he comes into the ballgame for Bobby Crimmins. And Neal is in at a guard spot to give Dalrymple a breather. Price again. Tom Jones with a rebound.
Just looks like Price is throwing the ball instead of shooting it. And what happens when I say you're throwing it, you let the ball get back on the heel of your hand.
Alley-oop to Bias! What a pass and what a catch!
Well, the thing that was so great is everybody in this arena, 16,000 people, knew what was happening, plus the Georgia Tech team. And his just great athletic ability was able to overcome the defense.
22-21, Maryland by 1. Len Bias already with 9.
There they are in that zone. Haven't been able to get into a position offensively, this Georgia Tech team, to try and isolate Bias and pick up that third. There they have the chance.
Hammonds. Just a great power move inside. 6 points for the freshman from Crestview, Florida.
Well, what he did is Hammonds noticed that Lewis turned his head defensively, and he just flashed into the lane and was able to get that ball and make that nice move.
Gatlin gives it up to Baxter. We're down to the 8-minute mark in the first half. Antoine Ford with a rebound. Farrell. He had that one down.
Oh, he sure did. Still, there's nothing. They did everything right but score. Price got the ball to the middle, read the defense. You'll take that shot every time if you're coaching.
And here is the foul on Dwayne Farrell as he and Bias were jockeying for position. That is 3 on Farrell, and that puts Bobby Crimmins in a real bind. He doesn't have enough players up front to make up for that foul trouble. 7:39 to go first half. Georgia Tech by 1.
In 1903, the world's most technologically advanced aircraft took off from North Carolina.
Trimble have been together every game for the last 3 seasons. What a combination that has been for Bobby Crimmins and Georgia Tech. Price and Sally had their numbers retired before the last regular season game in Atlanta. They have been a marvel to watch.
Yeah, durable players.
At the conclusion of our game, stay with us. We'll be choosing a player from each team as the Holly Farm players of the game. Mark Price is only the 4th player ever, or the 3rd, he and Johnny Dawkins, the 3rd and 4th, who have ever been named all-conference, 1st or 2nd team, all 4 years in this league. And that encompasses a lot of players. And Price is only the 17th player ever to be named to the All-ACC team 3 years in a row. That's first team.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Farrell has to sit down with 3 personals, and there's still 7:39 to go in the first half.
Well, the reason he picked up that foul, he is tired running after Bias, and he just reached in there and picked up the cheap foul. There we see the Georgia Tech going to the 2-3 zone.
Lewis with a power move, and they just swarmed over him.
He saw 6 hands in his face.
This is Neal on the run. Antoine Ford, the 7-foot sophomore. They get a low to Sally. Dalrymple back to Ford, who hardly ever looks to shoot from that range. His high this year is 4 points in the ballgame.
Well, right now with this lineup, the problem for Georgia Tech is to find someone to score. They're without Farrell, and they're also with Mark Price on the bench. They don't have that offensive punch. John Sally's got to change his shirt and go out there a little bit more offensive-minded with this group on the court.
Neal will try it from outside.
That's a big coup for Neal. He's been struggling from the field. He's only shooting, about 43% from the field.
25-22. Georgia Tech by 3.
You know, last night we were fooling around with that stat, how many times Bias touches the ball and how effective this team is.
Right.
He's touched it 6 times so far, and they've scored 11 points. The only point was a missed foul shot.
That's not bad.
No, not bad at all.
Gotta make sure he touches it a little bit more.
Yes, that's the point. But Georgia Tech is doing a good job not letting him get the basketball.
Bias comes out high to get it. Shot clock is down to 9 seconds, and Maryland hasn't even gotten close to a shot.
Well, Lenny Bias is not aggressive enough looking for the ball.
Jones bombs away from outside, loose ball, and Dalrymple gets most of them. John Johnson is into the Maryland lineup. He's number 21, playing guard with Baxter.
Last time down the court, Bias was just allowed the Georgia Tech zone to not allow him to get the ball. He's got to be more aggressive. He's got to come out and look for the basketball, and he'll open up things for his teammates.
Sally with Bias on him. And good play by Lewis. He got the steal. It's a 2-on-3 break, and Baxter made a mistake and got away with it. A 2-on-3 break. He went in against the defense and drew the foul anyway.
Well, here's the steal. Great anticipation by Derek Lewis. Comes across the court, is able to get it out to Johnson, who advances the basketball to Baxter. Baxter should have just, as soon as he made the contact, he should have been looking to throw the basketball at the hoop. But, I guess they did give him the 2 shots. I thought he was looking to pass the basketball.
Well, that was the 7th team foul. One way or another, he was going to go to the free throw line. We don't know if it's 2 or 1-and-1. And it was a 1-and-1, and he hits the first. Maryland had not scored in 3.5 minutes.
Well, one thing with this Maryland team, when they go to the zone, they become a little passive. They lose that aggressiveness. When they're out there playing man-to-man, they're just a better basketball team. But when you're put in a position when your star player has 2 fouls as early as he did, you must go with the zone.
Price comes back in the ballgame, but we have a timeout with 5:23 to go. It's Georgia Tech by a point. Shooting better than 50%. Maryland much better than 50%. And we've got a 1-point ball game with Tech leading 25-24 with a little over 5 minutes to go in the first half. We were talking during the timeout. Not a lot of rhythm to the first half, and John Madry, our statistician, pointed out, boy, the crowd is quiet.
Well, after the last game, I guess it's a little bit of a letdown. It's almost like these 2 teams are sparring with each other, just trying to see which one's going to make that first move. And it's going to be the team, as we saw in the first game, what won that game for Duke was their intensity at the defensive end of the court. And it's going to be the same factor in this basketball game before it's all done.
Len Bias has had excellent first halves, already scored 9 points at Maryland's 24, and he did not have a good shooting game last night against North Carolina. Stay with us at halftime. We'll be announcing 2 of the finalists in the Pepsi Super Fan Contest. Georgia Tech with the basketball, and Mark Price will bring it up. Johnson picks him up in midcourt.
They're looking to extending their trap. Well, they're just playing the zone. Soft zone, trying to force the ball out, further out on the perimeter.
Sally in the lane wants the basketball. And they get it to him. Bias blocked a part of it.
Now, first
talking to each other, too, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, Terry Long just was allowing Bias to get that good position and not using his body to force him out on the court, but Bias, with that great jumping ability, just erased that easy 2 points that Sally felt he had.
Gatlin outside. Right now, Dalrymple is on Bias. Tough assignment for him. Johnson, I don't know what he did there, but Neal comes out for Georgia Tech. Tom Jones comes from behind, makes the steal, and they can't hold it.
Oh, it's just great hustle by Jones.
Boy, it sure was.
Just ran Neal down, was able to knock that ball loose. Now here he is from behind, just going to chase Neal down. Neal should have been more aware of him in that position and been dribbling the basketball with his left hand.
And Price got over there to force Gatlin to knock it out of bounds. 1-point lead for Georgia Tech. Antoine Ford, jump hook way off.
There's a guy 7 feet tall, and he's against someone 6'7". I know Bias can jump, but he was intimidated by Bias's presence.
Ford has just had a real tough year from the floor, shooting about 35%. Tom Jones lost control of the dribble, or he would have shot it. Dalrymple may have gotten a piece of that one, and Ford commits the foul on Terry Long, and they're going to count the basket, and Bobby Cremins is hot about that. He thought the foul came well before the shot.
Well, sitting here, it looked like it did.
Yeah, I'll have to go along with that.
I thought the foul did occur before the basket. Now, there's Bias. There's Dalrymple doing as much as you possibly can. No one boxes him out. Looked like he got fouled before he left his feet. It was close.
Yeah, it was. Ford will have to go to the bench with 2 personals, and Terry Long will try to complete a 3-point play. Maryland has gone ahead. They're up by 1. Tip it outside. I'll give credit to Bias on that. Gatlin wants a jumper. Can't hit it, and Sally with a rebound.
That's a case that Keith just made his mind up that he was going to go get a shot, no matter what type of shot it was.
Neal hit an earlier jumper from that spot. Won't take this one. Tough pass to Hammond. He misses. Dalrymple with a rebound. And Long gets it back. Dalrymple goes after him.
They're starting to get physical underneath. Now, Hammond's had a case where he had Bias on his back. He has 2 fouls. He never looked to make any type of an offensive move in there, and he should have been looking.
Gatlin trying to back Neal in there. Goes to Jones. And Tom Jones takes the offensive. Pretty shot. 4 for Tom, Speedy Jones, and Maryland's up by 3.
It's 3, and they have their smallest lineup they can put on the court out there at this moment.
Sally made a tough pass to Hammonds, and he couldn't hold it.
You can just feel Maryland starting to get the things rolling. They're getting more and more confidence.
Got that same look in their eye that they had last night against North Carolina.
Yeah, they do.
Gatlin's jumper won't go. Long gets a rebound, but they're going to call Terry Long for pushing off to get the position.
Excellent call by the official. Here's Keith Gatlin's going to get a nice pass by Bias, finding Gatlin flashing across the lane. Sally forced him to change that shot, and he pushed off.
2:46 left in the first half. Maryland 28, Georgia Tech 25. Back after this from Bud Light.
Give me a light. Whoa. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer...
Hey, can I have a light?
Whoa! You never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Victory!
Too bad, Bob.
Party at my place.
Hey, I'll buy the food.
You? Why this late?
One of those 76 self-serve bars. They're bigger than ever.
Do they have hot dogs there, Mark?
Tacos,
Pizza? Chips and dips?
everything from gas to groceries.
Hey, pizza.
Soda.
Nachos.
Baby food, Junior?
No thanks.
No money, no problem. Your 76 credit card.
The Spirit of 76. An official sponsor of the Liberty Centennial.
This ACC tournament game is an exclusive of Raycom Sports and Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions.
28-25, Maryland with the lead, 2:46 to go in the first half, and this game is being brought to you in part by Mercedes-Benz.
Little disappointing so far. I expected, here we are in the semifinals of the ACC. I expected a little more intensity out here from both ball clubs. Has not lived up to what we thought it would be. I guess we were spoiled by that first game.
I think we were, and we were probably spoiled last night by the second half of the North Carolina-Maryland game, and by the second half of a couple other games we had in the first round.
And I think that this very easily could be a blowout, because whichever team takes it upon themselves and picks up that intensity at the defensive end of the court has the opportunity to waltz away with this ball game.
And they got qualified for the championship. Maryland, of course, I don't think has to worry about that NCAA bid anymore. They won their 18th last night. Georgia Tech has not scored in the last 4 minutes, and they're down by 3. Not many turnovers in the ballgame. It hasn't been that sloppy.
It looks like Lefty might try and keep Bias on the bench for the remainder of this half if he can, possibly can.
Neal tries to score and can't. Baxter with the rebound.
There's Derek Lewis. He's the one that changed the shot. Neal had that open lane, but Derek Lewis was just flying through the air and forced him to put it up a little too high off the glass.
The reason Lefty Drizel might try to keep him on the bench, as Billy was pointing out, he has 2 personal fouls. Farrell is on the Georgia Tech bench with 3. We get it to Jones. He was isolated on Price.
Excellent ball movement by this Maryland team. And you see where Bobby Crimmins is trying to light a fire under his ball club, and I think that's one of the reasons they came out and trapped in that situation.
30-25, Price with a tough shot. Oh.
Doesn't look like he's shooting with confidence. The reason I say that, he shot the basketball before he even hit the floor. He was looking to go to the basket. He didn't think it was in.
Price has 8 so far. There's Lewis in the pivot, that little jump hook. It's his favorite shot.
Well, I've seen him play 6-7 games this year. I haven't seen him in the first half being more aggressive at the offensive end of the court as he has been so far today.
Maryland by 5 with 1.5 minutes to go in the first half. Dalrymple guarded by Jones.
Jones is coming out, putting a lot of defensive pressure on Dalrymple.
Bobby Crimmins has a 3-guard offense on the court right now. Hammonds and Sally are his big men. Good bounce pass to Neal, is wide open, and he buried it.
That's just a great play by Price, being double teamed and knowing where his teammate was, and found him for the good open jump shot.
32-29, Maryland with a 3-point lead and the basketball. Baxter.
Well, Maryland can shoot the ball now with 54 seconds left. They'll get another possession at the other end, even if they hold the basketball.
Baxter missed, but Terry Long follows. And it's 34-29. 5 points for the big 6'8 center.
Well, we were seeing 2 players that we did not expect to be the ones offensively really helping this Maryland Terp team.
That's right.
Long and Lewis, 2 players that, you know, are just role players for the most games, looking to pick up the garbage here or there.
The shot clock is off, and Neal blows down the lane back to Sally. His jump hook is good. 34-31, and it's picking up a little bit. Sally has a half dozen.
The only player I've seen really aggressive out there offensively is Neal. He's taken the ball hard to the basket twice. He's missed one, but he made a fine move there for Sally.
Gatlin's off-balance jumper with 3 seconds won't go, and Dalrymple throws it 3-quarter court, trying to cut the lead even farther. That's the end of the first half. Maryland 34, Georgia Tech 31. Billy, that is interesting. The thing that's been the key to Maryland's surge at the last part of the season, Bias is going to get his points. They don't have to worry about that. It's been the guards. And today, as you pointed out, it's been Lewis and Long inside. And I'm sure Georgia Tech is surprised.
Oh, they are surprised. That, you know, another thing we have to look at is it changed quite a bit when Farrell had to go to the bench for this ball club. He was out there. He was playing very aggressive, working his tail off, trying to deny the ball to Bias. But then when he picked up that 3rd foul, it just seemed like they took a step backwards as a basketball team.
You think psychologically, I mean, Georgia Tech realizes it's only going to go 7 players deep when one guy gets in foul trouble. They understand it. Those kids know.
Oh, they know what's going on, but and this is a veteran team. You know, when you have players like Sally and Price that have been playing and Dalrymple playing together for so long and been in situations like this, they should be doing a little better job.
All right, we're at halftime in Greensboro. Maryland leading Georgia Tech 34-31. Stay with us for our halftime show. Top of the telecast that Georgia Tech has trouble rebounding against Maryland.
Trouble, and a bigger part of this ball game that's really surprising is Dalrymple has not scored a field goal or a point so far in this basketball game. And for Georgia Tech, that you have to be concerned about that if you're Bobby Crimmins, seeing that statistic. And another thing is that Gatlin and Baxter, only 2 field goals between them. And that's just not the way this team has been successful. But you have to look, as Lenny just mentioned, you know, with Long and Lewis, what they've contributed. I'm sure another point is that Lefty had to tell his teams, hey, remember what we did last night when we came out of the locker room in the second half?
Exactly.
That's exactly what we want to do in this in the second half today.
Particularly in the case of Baxter and Gatlin, who scored virtually nothing in the first half last night and then exploded in the second half. Dwayne Farrell will start the second half. He'll work with 3 personal fouls. It's Maryland 34, Georgia Tech 31. We've got 20 minutes to go.
I'll be interested to see if Farrell starts out playing bias defensively. He might just keep Dalrymple on him and try to save Farrell and not allow him to pick up that 4th foul, which is very likely when you're playing against a player like Len Bias.
This is Dalrymple, low to Sally, on Long. Nice move by John Sally, used his offhand.
Well, what he was thinking, score. He wasn't looking pass first and then shoot second. He was going to get that ball down low and really challenge Lewis inside.
8 points for John Sally. Georgia Tech has climbed within 1. This is Bias, leading scorer in the ballgame. Forced that one. Farrell with a rebound ahead to Dalrymple. 3-on-2. Blocked away by Gatlin, and he'll try to go in for the Snowbird. What a play by Gatlin.
Just great anticipation at the defensive end of the court. He read what Bruce Dalrymple was trying to do, making that pass down the lane, and just cut the pass off. That's what I call a 4-point play.
36-33. Maryland on top of Georgia Tech, a team with a record of 24-5. And there is big Tom Ham.
Well, we're looking at a different Georgia Tech team coming out of the locker room. This is an aggressive team down low in the post. They're looking to get the ball inside to their horses, and they're responding to that.
Hammonds with 8. It's 36-35. Maryland by a point. Gatlin, just like last night, the young man comes out and scores 4 points in a hurry at the beginning of the second half.
Well, right off the bat, you see that whatever the coaches told their players, we're seeing a different second. The second half is entirely different than what we saw at the latter part of the first half.
Seems like they all listened in the locker room, doesn't it?
Well, if you don't listen, you don't play.
Hammonds, Long had a chance to steal it and couldn't hold it.
Still an excellent defensive play by Long because he was on the weak side and he had the ability to come across and give that help.
Kentucky, another powerhouse in the final of the Southeastern Conference, has beaten Alabama 83-72 rather.
Eddie Sutton's just done a great job down in Kentucky, coming in there and just turning that ball club around, and they had a great season.
Neal is in, Dalrymple out for Georgia Tech.
Now we see the zone by the Maryland team. I think that they can still look to penetrate that zone, go through the seams, look to be aggressive.
Sally against Long, can't get the shot. This is Neal, wide open. Young man's a good shooter, as you pointed out earlier. He's been struggling, but seems to have his confidence right now.
John Sally is as fine a passer for a big man that I've seen this year in the country. He's just, sometimes he thinks too much pass and not enough at looking to be aggressive offensively for himself.
He's over 100 assists this year, and outside, Lenny Bias has 11 points, and Maryland continues to hold that 3-point lead.
Well, John Sally's got his hands full. He's the one out there trying to challenge Len Bias, and I'm sure Len is going to look to float a little bit more on the perimeter, trying to bring the big guy outside and give his other teammates some opportunities, either posting up or to get to the offensive boards.
Ball knocked out of bounds. It'll belong to Georgia Tech. Lewis out. Tom Jones will check back in. You asked me last night, who would you put on Len Bias to stop him? Who would be a good matchup? I finally thought of somebody. It's Rambo. I don't know if he has any eligibility left.
He has 2 years left. I checked on that last night.
Well, Bias gets another rebound. Terps up by 3 with 17 minutes left in this semifinal. Here goes Gatlin again. Oh. Keith Gatlin with 8. He's had 6 in the first 3 minutes of the second half.
That was not a good shot, and he still knocked it in. That's what happens when a player gets it rolling. You can play great defense, but he just can. That basket looks like it's 4 feet wide.
Price not good this time, and Jones with the rebound. It's a 5-point Maryland lead, and the Terps have the basketball.
We see that the Georgia Tech team is looking to go from the perimeter. They started out the second half getting it into their 2 horses, Sally and Hammonds inside, and they were successful. They've just gotten away from that.
Jones had that offensive rebound off the Gatlin miss. And now Baxter is working man-to-man on Price.
Well, he's got his hands full trying to beat Price to the basket because he's so quick.
Bias cut off by Sally, lost the ball, and Tech can't save it.
Well, that's a break for Maryland because Bias did not handle the basketball very well, and Georgia Tech did play excellent defense, but they came out on the short end not getting possession.
If you joined us late, the winner of this game will meet the Blue Devils at Duke in the championship tomorrow afternoon. Terry Long trying to get rid of it. Saved by Jones. Shot clock is down to 12 seconds.
I wonder who's going to shoot it.
Sally with a great block, and Bias got it right back.
Now, that is a terrible rule, I think, in college ball.
Long got the bucket and drew the foul from Hammonds. Go back to that rule. I think you're right.
Okay, we saw the clock was down to approximately 5 seconds. Bias. Okay, we'll take a look at it. Now it's down to 5. Sally makes a great defensive play. Now that Maryland gets possession, but the clock goes back to 45 seconds, and therefore the defensive team is being penalized for playing excellent defense.
Now in the pros, of course, you'd have to the shot would have to go up against the rim.
That's right. But you know, that's a 5-point play.
That's right. Terry Long makes his 3rd point on that play, and Maryland has stretched its lead to 8. 15:37 to go. We'll be back with more from Greensboro after this.
Georgia Tech, getting back to the point, they have to get somebody going and get themselves going at the defensive end of the court. Now that, as we talked about that last play, that was just a shame because they did do an excellent job defensively.
Just saw lefty Drizel, who won his 523rd career coaching victory last night.
And Maryland's going to come out with the zone. They're going to try and force the Georgia Tech team to shoot from the outside, and I don't blame them. No one has shot the ball very well from the perimeter for this Georgia Tech team so far tonight.
Price has had an off day after shooting so well yesterday.
Well, Dalrymple is just thinking too much. We saw him right there.
Gatlin went for another steal, ran into the official. He says, yeah, I know.
But we saw Dalrymple when he caught the ball that time on the wing. He had no intention of doing anything offensively for himself with the basketball. He's just looking to swing the basketball. So he's got to get himself in gear, get an offensive rebound converted, maybe get out on a breaking situation. But this team does not run very much.
Sally is the only one on the inside of that zone.
It's down to 10 seconds on that 45-second clock.
And Dalrymple has to unload. Missed, but Hammonds is there to follow. He missed, and Dalrymple with a rebound to Hammonds. Good job by both of those young men.
You know, there's no tougher place on the court to pass when you're inside, and you saw Dalrymple with 3 Maryland players surrounding him, still aware of where his teammate was, and made that great pass.
Hammonds with 10 points. It's a 45-39 game. Maryland by 6. Gatlin looked like he wanted to go one-on-one again, and now Bias will do the same thing. Off to Baxter, over Price, and Dalrymple with a long rebound.
Well, that's 6 rebounds for Dalrymple, so even though he's not scoring, he's contributing.
Price has done a nice defensive job on Jeff Baxter today.
Well, he's a little quicker than Baxter and takes away his offensive moves.
Hammonds and Long didn't get out quick enough. Tom Hammonds has scored 2 times in a row. He has a dozen, and the lead is cut to 4.
Well, we see that Georgia Tech is coming out and putting a little more defensive pressure. Dalrymple was picking up Gatlin 3/4 court, so that's the way they're going to try and get themselves going.
This is Bias a long way away from the bucket over John Sally. Price goes for the rebound, and he's fouled. Tom Jones got it.
Well, you can just tell by the crowd how the intensity is picked up in this basketball game. They're getting aggressive. They're getting involved in the ball game. Now here's the shot. And we see Jones going right over the back of Price.
Price had 7 rebounds yesterday. Price only 3 out of 8 from the floor so far. Dalrymple's 0 for 5. Neal has been the best outside shooter. He's been 3 of 4. Neal isn't in there right now. Farrell blocked by Jones, got it back, lost it. Maryland's basketball.
There was a case of good communication with the officials with each other, because they weren't. One official was not sure who the ball was off. There's a great block by Jones from the rear, and the ball gets out. It goes off the Georgia Tech player and out of bounds.
A lot of rumors always float around this tournament. There's one rumor that Bobby Crimmins might be leaving. What do you think of that one?
I think he's very happy in what he's done so far in Georgia Tech.
There's Bias burying another one. He's got 13. You'd hate to see him leave with a great job he's done at Georgia Tech and with a quality institution that he's working for now.
Well, he is, and he's just made this program, and I'm sure he'd be interested in South Carolina, his old alma mater.
Sally leans into one. It's back to 4. You get the feeling this one may go back down to the last shot.
What this defense has done, it's forced this Maryland team out on the perimeter.
Baxter gives Price a little bump. Bias against Sally, and Sally did a great defensive job. Here comes Tech. Price to Farrell. Good pass and an even better catch by Dwayne Farrell.
You know, that was just a great play by Price, reading the play, and he gave that bounce pass was just perfect because all Farrell had to do was catch it and in the same motion, go up and shoot it. Wow.
What a screen by Long.
Well, I'll tell you what, the person that Mark Price should be mad at is Hammonds, who did not come down there, who's playing long, and let him know that screen is there. He's out there working his tail off, putting this defensive pressure, and his teammate lets him get banged. Boy, look at them scrambling now, this Georgia Tech ball club.
Gatlin now isolated on Price, got the foul, almost got the bucket.
Well, that's the second foul. Now look at this great defense by Sally. Doesn't commit himself defensively and causes that turnover. Now that's the second foul that Mark Price has committed with someone shooting a jump shot. Instead of just getting good defensive position between the man and the basket and getting his hands up. You know, he's not 6'7", and he's not a shot blocker, so I don't know what he's thinking about in those situations.
Gatlin at the free throw line drills this one. Gatlin's been in double figures. 8 of his last 9 games. He could make it 9 out of 10 here as Maryland has a 3-point lead. And he does. Gatlin now with 10, and it's a 4-point lead. And we've got 11:49 left to go in this ball game from Greensboro. Maryland by 4. Back after this word from Budweiser. And to go. Georgia Tech ranked 6th in virtually every poll this week. Maryland unranked, but trying to get there. These guys, Price, Sally, Hammonds, Farrell, and Dalrymple, play an awful lot of minutes, something that really hurt this club in the NCAA a year ago. They're doing it again this year, virtually without help. Something used to happen all the time, Billy, but it doesn't seem to work that well anymore, not when you get in the tournament.
Well, the big reason for it is that you just need fresh players. You know, these players have become so great, and every team has outstanding athletes. When I played, you know, there may be 2 or 3 decent athletes on every team, and then you had the dogs out there. But today, these athletes are just phenomenal, and you need that bench. But the interesting thing is, when players play the amount of minutes Georgia Tech's players have had to play, they're more susceptible to injury. Then you look at Carolina's team, which rotates their bench, and they have all the injuries. So you never know.
Well, the other thing, without or having a shot clock now, you can't rest during the game. Great follow shot inside will cut the lead down to 2 points. It's 11 for Dwayne Farrell, who had 20 last night.
Well, Mark Price after the game will look for an assist on that play.
Yeah, he'll tell everybody it wasn't a shot, right?
Oh no, I saw you at the last second, and I tried to get you the basketball. Wasn't that a great pass?
Baxter, we've reached 11 minutes, and it's a 2-point ball game.
I'll tell you, Sally is just giving him fits.
Isn't he?
Bias tried to beat him in the lane there, and Sally moved his feet, beat him to the spot, keeping himself under control. Look at him. He's just got Bias. Really has come unwound out here.
Bias lost it that time.
John Sally is showing another dimension of his game, the ability to go out and play a great All-American and Len Bias out on the court. Most cases we see Sally inside playing people.
Good pass. Farrell missed the layup, however. The Georgia Tech bench desperately wants a foul. Really upset. Here's Jones. Great pass to Lewis. Great block by Farrell.
That was a strange play. First... Okay, let's take a look at the great defense that Sally is playing against Bias. Here he's going to get the basketball, stepping out, forcing Bias a little further out on the court. And he keeps it up. See, he has him spinning. He's just making that move a little too quick.
Back to live action, and John Sally ties it at 49. The last time the game was tied line was at 19.
And what's the reason? The defense. Look at the intensity. Instead of picking up at the top of the circle or the foul line, they're out there three-quarter looking to put some pressure. And it gets people involved in the game, and it gets the adrenaline going.
Baxter's being guarded by Farrell right now. And Gatlin is dogged by Price. This is Tom Jones. Nice fake. Won't count, but he gets the foul on Tom Hammonds. That'll be his third.
Well, that was just beautiful execution. And the reason Jones was able to step out there and get that open shot is that he had such a good screen set for him by Derek Lewis that on Hammonds that he stepped out, had that good position, and Hammonds came running out, and he was able to take a step by him and have the good shot.
Timeout. 9 minutes, 38 seconds left to go in the second semifinal from Greensboro. We're tied at 49. Maryland and Georgia Tech. We're tied at 49. Here's what's happened so far. We'll bring you up to date. Duke advanced to the semifinals by knocking off Wake Forest. Virginia escaped North Carolina State to advance in that bracket. And then last night, Georgia Tech took care of Clemson by 18, and Maryland knocked off North Carolina 85-75 to advance to this afternoon. Earlier today, Duke had to fight off a determined Virginia Cavalier team to advance to the championship game tomorrow afternoon. And right now, Georgia Tech and Maryland have it up for grabs with 9:38 left. Tomorrow we'll start it at 12 noon with the ACC Sports Center. Paul Cameron and Len Elmore will be there with you. Of course, they haven't left this building since Friday morning, so they get the toughest job of anybody. They just work and work and work.
The problem is there's no showers in this building.
That's right. We still steer a little clear of them by Saturday night and early Sunday morning. Tom Jones hits the free throw. He's got 7 today. Very near his average. Got it again, and Maryland's back on top by 2.
I would expect Georgia Tech to look to go back inside to either Sally or Hammond, looking to get those big people because they were so successful early.
Price with a tough shot. Won't go, and Baxter with a rebound, and Price went down hard.
It was just a poor shot. He was looking to draw the foul, but he wasn't able to and ended up forcing the shot. He and Baxter are really going after each other.
Gatlin from 16 was short on that one. Big rebound to Sally.
They're going to set it up, bring it back, get it to Price. Well, Dalrymple will take it himself and set up the offense.
Knocked away, knocked out of bounds, and who touched it? Out to Maryland. Last touch by Dalrymple.
That's 2 big turnovers by Dalrymple in this half. That fast breaking situation where Gatlin stole it. And here's the other turnover. Gatlin looking to reach behind and was able to deflect the ball again.
So often they'll call out a foul, but apparently the official had the perfect angle on it, could see there was no contact.
Surprising to me, teams playing Georgia Tech wouldn't look to deny the basketball from Mark Price even a little bit more and force Dalrymple to handle it.
Virginia's done that very well throughout the last couple of years. Jones misses the jump hook. Maryland's up by 2. 8 minutes, 23 seconds left. Georgia Tech with a chance to tie.
They have to go back inside. That's where they were most effective at the offensive end of the court.
Almost threw it away again. Jones is really dogging Farrell inside. Hammonds is just a tough customer. He has 14 points. We're tied again.
You know, when something's going well for you, especially in a game like this, which means so much, getting to the finals of the ACC, you go with what's going good for you.
Baxter has had a tough time with Mark Price. He has not scored in the second half, only has 6 points for the ballgame.
Well, you know what's happened a little bit, too, with these 2 players, as we see now that they're a little too concerned in outplaying each other and they're getting away from the team concept at the offensive end of the court.
Bias has it low, double team, forced the shot. Jones gets it alive, and Price took it from him and then kicked it out of bounds. At the conclusion of our game, we'll be choosing a player from each team as the Holly Farms players of the game. Oh, even when Price is having an off day, he just hustles.
Look at Sally, just battling in there. Good help by Price when he puts it on the floor. A missed shot, but Tom Jones, Speedy, was way up there in the air getting that offensive rebound. No one checked him off the boards.
Low to Lewis over Hammond, short, and a rebound to Hammond.
That was a tentative shot. He did not go up and shoot it strong.
Price calls out the play. We're nearing 7 minutes in a 51 all tie.
You know, one factor is the intensity has picked up so much at the defensive end of the court. It's really making it tough for either team to score. So they're going to have to show that patience and look to get it inside.
Lewis, as they tried to get it inside, reaches in and commits the foul.
Yeah, I just believe that offensively, it's so much better to get the ball inside first and then get it out if someone has the good inside shot. It makes it an easier, shorter shot for the man on the perimeter, and it's always putting pressure on the defense.
Terry Long is back in the ball game, and Jones will go out with 6:56 left.
Baxter's looking to deny that ball now to Price, forcing Dalrymple to set the offense up, and that also takes Dalrymple off the offensive boards when he has to be out there handling the ball.
This is Farrell, and Lewis got him.
Just a great move to the basket by Farrell. What happens here, Derek Lewis is looking for help. No one's there. You see Gatlin just standing, watching him drive to the basket. He had nothing. All he could do there was to try and block the shot, picked up the foul, or let him score the 2 points.
Farrell has hit 1 out of 2 today. 75% on the year. Can give his team the lead and does. 52-51 with 6:41 left.
It's been a while now that Maryland has been behind in this basketball game.
It sure has.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they respond in this situation. And we're watching an exhibition by John Sally defensively against Len Bias, and I'm sure a lot of other coaches would have liked to have tried this for 4 years, putting a little bigger, quicker man out there defensively against Len Bias.
Baxter with a fake inside to Bias, double team. Bias got whacked across the forehead. Dalrymple goes down hard. Bias is holding his eye. Dalrymple having trouble to get up.
Well, that young man is just always battling in there, Dalrymple. So
he's about as tough as they come, isn't he?
Yeah. That's his training from the schoolyards.
Bias reached in, committed the personal. That's his third.
This is the first time I have seen Len Bias frustrated. Now we see Sally just bodying up this Len Bias.
Oh, Sally got him in the face. That's why.
That will distract the shooter.
Yes, yes, it will. 6:04 left to go. Georgia Tech on top of Maryland, 53-51. Don't go away.
He's going to have to get the ball out on the court, and when he's playing against Sally, make the good, strong move to the basket. Take it to the hole against him, because what he's been doing is settling for that jump shot, or when he's posted up, they've been able to send someone back, double team him, and Sally's big enough, a 7-footer, to really contest and bother that shot. Of course, when you slap a guy in the face, you know, that makes it a little tougher.
Billy, he only has 4 points, he being Len Bias in the second half, 13 overall. This game is being brought to you in part by Mazda and Holly Farms. Tech leading by 2 with the basketball. Sally, Farrell, Hammonds, Dalrymple, and Mark Price, the Iron Five, are in there for Maryland. It's Jones, Bias, Baxter, Gatlin, and Long.
I'll tell you a great stat. Earlier in this game, 9 out of 12 times the Bias touched 9 out of 12. They scored, the Maryland team.
Here's the steal, and Maryland will have a chance to tie.
Now they're 10 for 19, so you can see the defensive job. Yes, it does.
Gatlin has helped carry the scoring load in the second half. He's got 8 of his 10. And Bias a little long for Terry Long. He says he was held, but it's a turnover.
Here's Bias with the basketball, trying to feed Terry Long, but he just leads him a little too far away. Could not reach the basketball.
Baxter on Price. This is Farrell, guarded by Jones. Dalrymple covered by Gatlin.
It's getting awfully physical inside.
Sure is. And it was kicked by Gatlin. He says, I didn't kick it, I stole it. And they'll recycle the shot clock. And Gatlin is not going to win this appeal. Lefty trying to help out a little bit.
And I got some swamp land.
That's right.
No one bought that.
5:16 left. Georgia Tech by a pair. They're trying to clear it out a little bit for Price.
They got a mismatch inside. Hammonds has got Baxter.
And 2 points.
Excellent play by Price. Came off the screen, Instead of looking for the quick shot against Bias, he knew they had the mismatch and went inside. The Maryland team did not react very well to give any help to Baxter inside.
16 points for Tom Hammonds, who had 4 yesterday, and Sally will draw the foul this time.
That looked like a bad call. From sitting here, it looked like Bias jumped right into Sally and hit him with an elbow right in the mouth.
Sure does.
Yeah, didn't he? He stuck that left elbow right out in his mouth.
Well, Bias will go to the line. 4 points only in the second half for the All-American forward.
See what that last play, Bias had a chance to take it all the way to the basket. That's what he has to do. Then right now, Sally's has got a good feeling for his rhythm. He knows that all he's going to do is take one dribble, pump fake him, go up for the shot. And he's just ready for that. He's not committing himself defensively.
Bias 2 out of 3, now make it 3 out of 4 from the line. He hits this one, and Maryland is back within 2 at 55-53. Long will come out, Lewis will come back in, and Len Bias has 15 points. Price looks to Bobby Crimmins. Calls out the play.
Here comes the trap. Now they're backing off.
Dalrymple to Farrell, and Lewis got over in time to stop him.
Good patience offensively. Look inside. Get it inside to your big people.
Hammonds almost lost it. He's guarded by Bias. And Price working hard to get the ball. He's fouled by Baxter. Non-shooting foul, and neither team is in the bonus yet. There's only one on Baxter.
Yeah, there was an example. It was a pass inside to Hammonds. He did not come to meet the ball. There's an old saying we used to have, give up position for possession. And they almost lost possession of that basketball that time, feeding the post.
Foul on Baxter was the 5th team foul against Maryland. Georgia Tech has committed 4, and we're down to 4 minutes and 17 seconds. That might be a factor. We'll keep an eye on it for you. Price wants a 22-footer.
That's just great execution at the offensive end of the court.
That's the first basket, Billy, in the second half for Mark Price.
But he's just played a good basketball game. He has the
Always
ability.
does.
Oh, yeah. You know, he's been looking to get the ball inside. He's created some good opportunities for his teammates.
Maryland has gone 9 minutes without a field goal until right now as Baxter drills one.
That's his first.
Yes, it is.
I told you, it's macho out here, these two guys. They're going at it.
57-55. Georgia Tech by 2. 3:36 left in this one. The winner will meet Duke.
Let's see if Dalrymple can get off the snide. No, he's not looking for it.
No, he's looking inside. Farrell guarded by Jones. Now Dalrymple with Gatlin on him. Lewis and Sally really going after each other. Dalrymple hands it off. Sally with a spin left hand. And they'll get a foul, and Len Bias doesn't like the call. Of course, Len hasn't liked too many calls earlier this year, and that's 4 personals.
Okay, we're going to see Dalrymple penetrating. Sally, a nice spin move right there.
It wasn't much.
I didn't see much either.
Sally will go to the line. He is not a good free throw shooter. There's Bias with 4 personals. So Sally on the year, not a good free throw shooter, but down in the last few minutes of the game, his percentage improves dramatically, and that's just got to be concentration.
No game.
Missed that one.
Yeah. You know, I get the feeling he almost thinks about it too much when he gets up on that line. You know, he just gets up there and he almost concentrates too much on what he's trying to do up there and just get up there nice and loose and just shoot that foul shot. Here comes the trap.
They make 1 out of 2. It's a 3-point lead. Jones in the lane and scores. Speedy Jones. He's got 10. Always a factor when Maryland plays well is Tom Jones. 3 minutes to go and a 1-point ball game.
And he loves to play in the second half of ball games. That's when he's usually most effective for this Maryland team.
Terps back to his zone.
Well, when you have 4 fouls on Len Bias, you have to get to maybe under 2 minutes before you can look to go back into that straight man-to-man. Now this
shot clock is down to 15 seconds. Dalrymple just doesn't want to take the shot
he doesn't
today.
want any part of it. I wouldn't even go out and play him. I'd back off and look to help inside.
Shot clock down to 6, and Farrell with a great feed to Sally.
He just did what the one point I was going to make while Farrell did it right there is to penetrate against the zone. Georgia Tech is just swinging the ball, not looking to penetrate against the seams. He did that and was able to find Sally.
Sally has 15, and Bias, the All-American, answers, and it's a one-point game again. Bias has 17. Boy, are these guys great.
Well, it's going to be great when we're under 2 minutes.
The clock is the game clock that's superimposed on your screen, so you can keep an eye on that. We'll try to keep you up to date on the shot clock.
They're backing off. They're not even over there on Dalrymple. I'd get all the way off and make sure I made it more congested in the lane so they couldn't hurt me inside.
Shot clock is at 18 seconds. Game clock at a minute 34.
The guy hasn't shot the ball in the 30 minutes. There he goes. Boy, I'll tell you, I should have had my foot in my mouth that time.
Well, it's clutch time, and Dalrymple will respond. That's his first bucket of the ball game.
I would say a rather big one.
Bias in the lane, and Sally fouled him.
First, let's take a look at this play. Watch the penetration by Farrell right in the seam of the zone. And John Sally just dropping that one in.
Tends to clear them out under the bucket.
Okay, good. Watch John Sally staying down in good defensive position. Forces Bias to commit himself with the shot. He got him on the arm.
3 out of 4 from the line. These are all big shots for Len Bias, and 4 out of 5, and he will respond. #1 in the ACC at 86.1% coming into this tournament. Hit 10 out of 11 yesterday. And Bias misses this one. Big shot. Lenny Bias with 18 points. It's a 2-point game with a minute 10 left.
Now they're going to come out. I think they're going to play a man-to-man. They're going to have to come out and play these people. They can't just let Georgia Tech use up that clock.
Price guarded by Baxter. Now this is Sally.
Good pressure defensively by Maryland. Keep the ball out of Price's hands if they at all costs, I would say right now.
Shot clock at 12. They got a screen, and Price down the lane off to Hammonds. Missed it. Kept alive. Maryland with a basketball. 37 seconds left. The shot clock is off.
Get a timeout.
Lefty Drizel standing up, looking at his ball club. Nobody signaling for the timeout right now.
I guess they know what they're supposed to do in this situation. The coach just doesn't want to call that timeout. That's the man right there with the basketball.
By a spinning move into the lane. Holy cow, what a shot!
I mean, John Sally did everything any human being could do defensively, and that guy still knocked it in.
Unbelievable.
I wonder if he has an agent yet.
Yeah. Well, he's not supposed to.
Play. Great defense by Price coming over and help. Off balance.
Holy cow. And he's got 20 points.
Now watch this. There's Price. That's great defensive help. Off balance, leaning in. Contact there with Sally. Still, what concentration. Now, there's a guy that's been struggling in the second half. When it was crunch time, Mr. B took the responsibility on his shoulders.
If you turned out to be his agent, I would imagine your golf game would improve dramatically.
Not only, you would not see me sitting here any longer.
I mean, you're not doing this just for the sheer enjoyment of it.
I love it.
This is great.
It's been such a thrill for me coming back and doing. I haven't been to a tournament, as we said, for 21 years. And I know you told me I don't look that old, but
no, I didn't tell you that.
The electricity in this building for the 2 days has just been really something.
How different is it for you being here 21 years ago as a player?
But excuse me, repeat that one.
How different is it? You know, you were here 21 years ago as a player, now coming back as a fan and a broadcaster. How is it different?
Well, I had a chance this time to see all the parties, the things going on. You know, when you're a player, you're isolated in a hotel room. You come over here, you play, you practice, and you're back to the hotel. You know, the coaches want to keep you away from all this that's going on. I've been glad I got a chance to enjoy that this time.
10 seconds left, tied at 62. You just saw that they've split games in overtime before, and this is the way the 2 regular season games went between these clubs. Even though the one at College Park was 77-70, it was close down to the last 45 seconds of the ball game.
Now, one thing I would try to do if I was the Maryland Ball Club, somehow, I would almost take the man who's playing the ball out of bounds off the basketball and look to deny the ball to Mark Price with 10 seconds to play, because he's the one out here that has the ability to get the ball down the length of the court. The other thing is, Coach Crimmins might look to just advance the ball, say to half court, and then use another timeout and set up something.
And Lefty Driesell wanted to see how they were going to set up that inbounds play and used another timeout. That means he'll have 2 left. Georgia Tech has 2 left. Of course, in 10 seconds, they're probably not in any trouble in that department.
Yeah, well, neither one are. But
now, an interesting question I got to ask you here. As a former coach, they've come out and shown them that setup. They call a timeout. Now, does that mean you automatically change it, or do you say, the heck with it, I'm going to do what my best play is or my best setup and go back to it?
Well, that depends on the coach. If he's had great success in whatever set he came out with, and he'll usually have a couple options getting the ball in bounds. The whole key of this is not only getting the ball in from Georgia Tech, but they must get the ball into Mark Price's hands, unless they're looking to advance the ball to half court, maybe by one direct pass. But then again, in the tie ball game in this situation, a long pass, you know, we're talking about 45 feet, 50 feet. There's the potential of a turnover. So bottom line is trying to keep the ball out of Mark Price's hands. Maybe Dalrymple, maybe Hammonds can get advanced into half court, and then maybe getting another timeout, having 6 or 7 seconds left on the clock.
Another thing for the fans to keep in mind is that Maryland has lost to Georgia Tech 5 straight times. Bobby Crimmins has had more success with Lefty Driesell since he came into the league than anybody. I mean, he has just been dominant against Maryland, and I guess that's the way it works. Some teams just seem to match up that way against each other.
That's the key, matching up well.
Bobby Crimmins sends out Dalrymple, Price, Hammonds, Farrell, and Sally, the guys you would expect. We'll see who Lefty Driesell brings out along with Bias. It's Long, Gatlin, Baxter, and Derek Lewis.
We got Derek Lewis playing center field, and you see Lynn Bias right in front of us is trying to force Hammonds to get the ball. Now there's Long was trying to help out. He's got to get some help. There's the
ball. Maryland has it. Terry Long, what presence of mind.
Yes.
Long made the steal, and on the way to get the ball, he was looking at the official and said, give me a timeout.
Well, the thing was that he was out there doing one thing. He was off the ball, and he was giving that help, okay, to Baxter. Here you see him. He didn't do a good job helping him deny the ball, but they don't even care about Sally in this situation because he's a non-factor. Now here's the great hustle. Picks it up. Timeout.
Watch the way the coaches saw this play. Now, Lefty was signaling timeout. He didn't have to tell Terry Long. And Bobby Crimmins, of course, boy, he just hated to see it. And now Maryland's in the situation Georgia Tech was, except they'll have the ball in half court. 5 seconds left. We had this situation last night. You could probably get one pass and a shot.
Well, a couple things you can do. Again, here's the ball outside, out of bounds at half court. You can take the man off the ball who's playing the man out of bounds, back him off to look to have him give a little bit of help. Because in most cases, you will find the man taking the ball out of bounds is not going to be a factor in these 5 seconds. So he can go double team. He can help somebody if someone's coming off the screen defensively so they don't get the good, easy shot. Now, I would expect, obviously, they'd like to get the ball to Bias.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised to see Keith Gatlin with the basketball. He has shown the ability today to take the ball and be able to penetrate and get the shot. Against Dalrymple, he'd have a better chance than against Mark Price, because Baxter has had his hands full trying to do anything except maybe shoot a long jump shot in the second half.
5 seconds to go. Tie ball game. Keith Gatlin comes over and says, boy, I don't know. Shakes his head. He'll be the inbounds man right in front of our broadcast position.
There's so many different things you can do from this point right here at half court. There's always the possibility of a lob, possible lob pass, setting a back screen and throwing a lob pass to maybe a Lewis or to Len Bias.
Now, Bobby Crimmins just did the same thing Lefty Driesell did the possession before. He waited until he saw how they came out and called the timeout.
A big factor is seeing who is taking the ball out of bounds for the Maryland Terps, and then looking to make that possible adjustment, maybe even making a substitution at that point, seeing the way they're going to come out and attack in the last 5 seconds.
And another thing, Billy, you have to wonder if Georgia Tech understands this. You look up at the scoreboard, they've only committed 5 team fouls. They have a foul to waste, and if they do it after the inbounds play, they could waste 2-3 seconds, as long as it's not an intentional foul, as long as somebody isn't clubbed.
Well, I don't think they'll have the ability to do that, Mike. I think that if they're going to take the foul, which I would guess that they will, it's going to have to be as soon as the ball is in. What they'll do is they'll look to deny, look to go for the steal. They have nothing to lose. If you don't get the steal, make sure you get the guy's arm, a part of his body, so they can't do anything or get into the act of shooting.
Hope you'll be with us tomorrow. We'll have the ACC Sports Center and then the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship games. Paul Cameron and Len Elmore will kick off our coverage tomorrow afternoon. Billy Cunningham and I will be back with you for the winner of this game against the Blue Devils of Duke. Well, what a great weekend it has been for college basketball. We've seen some real terrific games. And we got 5 seconds left in this one, and the possibility of an overtime looms.
Just a great basketball game. The second half, we've seen the Maryland team come out, play very strong, build up a nice 8-point lead. Timeout by Bobby Cremins, look to extend the defense for his ball club, and that ignited the Georgia Tech team, and they got themselves right back in the ball game. Not only that, but were able to take the lead.
Gatlin again will be the inbounds man. No lineup changes for either ball club. Bruce Dalrymple will come over to contest Gatlin. Bias right now is being guarded by Dwayne Farrell. Gatlin's got to get it in. It is picked off by Farrell. He scored with 2 seconds left and was fouled. Holy cow, what a finish. And Farrell anticipated, picked it off, and he has won the ballgame.
Well, he had nothing to lose, as we said, if he wasn't going to get the steal. Now he's overplaying and denying every pass. You see Mark Price, and there he is, just stepping right into that passing lane and going for the basket. Now that's, people might say, well, Keith Gatlin threw the ball away, but that 5-second count was on, and he had a lot of pressure to get the basketball inbounds, and no one came to meet him.
No one came to him, that's for sure. Bias didn't come toward him. He came out toward the center of the court.
What a game. Did you know, I was just sitting here watching the different emotions from Bobby Cremins and looking at Lefty.
Farrell missed. Maryland tried to call timeout. There was 1 second on the clock, and it ticked off.
How about Farrell? Didn't have a chance to play last year in the tournament. Got hurt.
That's right.
And here he is. He's the hero of the moment, carrying this team right to the finals against the Duke's Blue Devils. Okay, there's denying the passing, looking to overplay. Great anticipation and going for that. That's why you never want to pass the basketball across the court. Now watch the coaches. Bobby Cremins just doesn't know what to do with himself when this happened. He is so excited. And poor Lefty, I really feel for the man. He just has coached such a great last month of the season, getting his team going. Look at Bobby.
Second ACC championship potential for Bobby Cremins, and it'll be the matchup that I think most people, Billy, thought it was going to be when this tournament started, that it was going to be Georgia Tech and Duke in the final.
Well, everybody, either Georgia Tech, North Carolina playing against Duke, and it should be a great game tomorrow. Duke, one thing though, Georgia Tech cannot come out and start the basketball game the way they did it against this Maryland ball club.
That's right. The final 64-62, Georgia Tech over Maryland. We'll be back with more from the Greensboro Coliseum after this message from Budweiser.
This Bud's for all that you do.
They said this city was through. You said, no way.
Each day the spirit's growing. Your pride is really showing. You make America work, and this Bud's for you.
Here's to you. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This Bud's for you.
Take out the papers and the trash.
At Rose's, you can clean up on hundreds of name brand products for your home. Like this Black & Decker Dustbuster. It's rechargeable. It's good for corners and stairs. Big jobs, and little jobs. And at Rose's, the Black & Decker Dustbuster is just $28.88. So come to Rose's for today's products at prices that'll remind you of days gone by. Rose's, the best place for the best price.
One reason the cost of your company's group benefit plan may be so hard to contain is because it assumes everyone in the group is the same. But people are different, and so is the coverage they need. That's why Pilot Life developed the Flex Advantage benefit plan. Because of its flexibility, Flex Advantage can help contain costs without limiting benefits, and your people get more freedom to choose the benefits they need. Flex Advantage, another example of good sound thinking that works from Pilot Life.
The American work ethic. It's when what you do isn't a job. It's a commitment. It's working by a standard, not by a clock. It's when the toughest standards are your own. The work ethic built a nation, and today it's building an airline. Last year, Piedmont gained passengers 10 times faster than the largest airline in the country, and our service record was ranked #1. The work ethic. It's alive and well at Piedmont Airlines.
Today's game plan brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Back in Greensboro, what a finish. 64-62. Georgia Tech going to the finals for the second straight year. And the Yellow Jacket faithful behind us saying, we want Duke, we want Duke. Right now, let's go floor side. Terry Gaddon has got some special guests.
Coach Bobby Cremins, what do you say after a win like this? ACC basketball at its best.
First, I got to say, I got to take my hat off to Maryland. You know, Terry, we've had some great wins against them, and I thought when Price lost the ball, it would go the other way. And a remarkable thing happened. Dwayne Farrell stole the ball with 5 seconds and laid it in. It was a great basketball game. We came back, we fought back. Bias made a great shot to tie it. I just can't say enough. We're worn out. It was a great, great basketball game. The freshman Hammonds came through. Farrell, a great steal. What more can you say? I want to take my hat off to Lefty Maryland, though. They're a great team. They deserve to be in the NCAA.
I thought John Sally did a heck of a job guarding Lenny Bias tonight.
He did a super job. And then he made one bad foul. He was fantastic. He blocked the ball. And at the end, you know, he played great defense. I thought we had a charge. But Bias, once again, put the ball in the basket.
Coach, good luck tomorrow. Go get some sleep.
Thank you, Terry.
Tommy Hammonds, come on in here. Tommy, freshman, you're in the ACC tournament. You have all the confidence in the world. What was going through your mind out there tonight?
I was just trying to run the plays. We took timeouts and coach just telling us to settle down and just not be scared of anything, just run the offense and everything come all right.
It looked like, especially in the first 5 minutes of the second half, that they were really looking inside for you and Sally. Was that the case tonight?
Yeah, it really was. They were really packing it in on Mark, just playing junk defense and a boxing one. And Bruce and Dwayne and Mark and those guys did a really good job of just getting me and John the ball, and we just compensated on that.
I know you got to be excited about tomorrow. Any thoughts on Duke?
I'm just ready to play Duke. We owe them one, and I'm just ready to play.
All right, thanks a lot, Tommy. I got to get Dwayne Farrell in here, the man who made the steal at the end. Holy cow. You said earlier, I heard you talking, that you felt that it was coming. Were you a mind reader out there or what?
No, I wasn't exactly a mind reader. Sitting on the sideline on the timeout, Coach Clark, he showed us a play that they ran twice this year during last-minute seconds and during the game. And what happened was he said Lenny Bias was going to come off a screen at the top of the key. And what I did, I just anticipated, and I saw the pass coming. It was unbelievable. When I tapped the ball out in front of me, just so much excitement was in front of me, and I just went in and dunked the ball.
Well, this atmosphere is just tremendous. It's just a great thing to play in the ACC tournament, is it not?
It is. It's the wonderfulest thing. I think, you know, I just thank the Lord for everything right now, because the past 2 games has just been wonderful for me, and I'm just so excited right now. I missed the free throw because of excitement. I'm just so happy right now.
Hey, Dwayne, go get some sleep. Go get them tomorrow, all right?
All right, thanks, man.
That's ACC basketball. Paul, what do you think?
I think that, first of all, Georgia Tech may be speaking with some exuberance, much like 1983 NC State. Game plan has been brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. A rin-snapping finish for Georgia Tech. 64-62 winners. We'll be back to Greensboro after these words.
You dip a...
It's the 1986 NCAA Basketball Championship.
From the Convention Center in Long Beach, California, it's the Pepperdine Waves versus the Maryland Terrapins.
Tonight's game is being brought to you in part by Pan Am, who offer 32 European cities this spring, more than all other airlines combined.
Hello, everybody. This is Mike Walden along with Larry Conley. Welcome to Long Beach. Pepperdine and Maryland, the winner going on to face UNLV after the Runnin' Rebels ran over Northeast Louisiana in the first game today, 71-74 to 51. Larry Conley, Maryland is led by the great Len Bias, one of the best players ever to play the game.
Mike, you're right. He was unanimous selection as the All-ACC player, an outstanding young man. He was also first-team All-American, and I think deservedly so. And I don't think a lot of people in this country are going to be too disappointed for me to say that he is going to be a first-round draft choice, maybe one of the top 3 or 4.
How does Pepperdine try to contain Len Bias?
It's very difficult because he's one of those type of players that can go inside and outside that can hurt you. He's got a great jump shot, but his strength is really his inside play. And I think if they're going to win this game, they've got to in some way contain his ability.
Pepperdine is led by Dwayne Foley, twice the West Coast Athletic Conference Player of the Year.
He's also one of those type of players that can hurt you inside and outside. I think the thing that's a positive note for him is the fact that being the Player of the Year 2 years in a row in his conference has really given him a lot of confidence. This is a good basketball team. This is also the type of club that when they come out to play a Maryland club, I think they're going to have to be on their guard.
No question about that. Maryland favored. What chance do you give Pepperdine?
I think they have an excellent chance. In fact, I think this is going to be the best first-round game of this Western Regional.
Well, we are about to find out as Maryland from the Atlantic Coast Conference goes against Pepperdine from the WCAC. We'll be back with the player introductions from the Long Beach Arena right after this.
Gentlemen, and welcome to the Long Beach Arena for today's NCAA Tournament West Regional opening round game hosted by the Cal State University Long Beach 49ers. Today's game features the Pepperdine Waves and the Maryland Terrapins. And now introducing the starting lineups. At forward for Pepperdine is senior 6'7" from Gardena, California, number 44, Anthony Frederick. At forward for Maryland, a sophomore 6'7" from Temple Hills, Maryland, number 33, Derek Lewis. At forward for Pepperdine, a junior 6'8" from San Francisco, California, number 34, Eric White. At forward for Maryland, a senior 6'8" from Landover, Maryland, number 34, Len Bias. At center for Pepperdine, a sophomore 6'7" from San Francisco, California, number 50, Levy Middlebrooks. At center for Maryland, a junior 6'8" from Glen Ellen, Virginia, number 32, Terry Long. At guard for Pepperdine, a senior 6'5" from Los Angeles, California, number 32, Dwayne Foley. At guard for Maryland, a junior 6'5" from Grimsland, North Carolina, number 3, Keith Gatlin. At guard for Pepperdine, a senior 5'11" from Santa Barbara, California, number 11, John Corpus. At guard for Maryland, a senior 6'1" from Washington, D.C., number 12, Jeff Baxter. And the head coach of the Pepperdine Waves, Jim Herrick. And the head coach of the Maryland Terrapins, Lefty Drizel.
The coaches are ready, the players are ready, and we'll return with the opening tip-off, Maryland and Pepperdine, after these messages.
Do not touch your remote control. You are not experiencing...
Long Beach, first-round action in the West Regional of the NCAA. This is the second of 2 this afternoon in Long Beach. Maryland and Pepperdine. Ron Zetcher will be the referee. The umpires, Gene Monge and Herman Ramsey. Pepperdine 25-4, Maryland 18-3. Will Pepperdine be able to pull off the upset? Cleveland State already has upset Indiana today, 83-79. So we will find out. The tip is controlled by Len Bias, and it'll be Gatlin out in front for Maryland. Maryland finished 6th in the ACC with a 6-8 record. Pepperdine won the West Coast Athletic Conference Championship. This is the 4th trip in the last 5 years to the NCAA tournament for the Waves of Pepperdine. And Bias misses out front, and Corpus, the smallest man in the court, has it for Pepperdine. Down quickly to Dwayne Foley. His 15-footer comes off to Keith Gatlin.
Watch Bias. Gatlin got it up.
And Gatlin gets it to drop. 2-0 Maryland.
Mike, that's the way you handle the fast break. Put it in the hands of Gatlin and back the defense up. He got Corpus on his heels, and he shot the soft jumper.
Interesting matchup between Corpus and Gatlin today.
You'll notice Maryland's opened up in their man-to-man defense. They're very good at this. They've got good quickness at all 5 positions.
Foley out in front with Corpus. Try to get it down to White. The pass was denied by Derek Lewis.
Pepperdine's got an interesting club. You know, they've had the same lineup for 58 consecutive games. That says a lot because the guys get to know each other.
Absolutely, Larry Connolly. That's got to be a plus when you get into NCAA tournament play. They know one another. Corpus looking inside. Levy Middlebrooks gets it. Levy Middlebrooks scored. Oh, they're going to take it away.
They're going to take it away because the ball was in the cylinder and it was touched by somebody on the Pepperdine club. Watch it again. Middlebrooks with a good move. He got Long stranded right there, arms extended. He beat him baseline. Watch the ball go around. Watch it be tipped right here. Good call up and on the inside. And who was touching it? Eric White.
And the Pepperdine coach, Jim Herrick, all over Herman Ramsey, one of the officials who made the call. 2-0.
Good call. It was a good call.
Lewis to the left of the lane. Ball is snapped up by Levy Middlebrooks, who clears it to John Corpus. 2-0 Maryland, the early going. Ball is knocked away by Long. Middlebrooks gets it back for the Waves of Pepperdine University. This is almost a home game for Pepperdine. I say almost. They're about 60 miles away out of Malibu. Corpus misses the shot. A follow-up by Frederick is no good. And we get a foul underneath. It'll be against Derek Lewis or Long, let's see, of Maryland.
Look at the offensive glasswork right here of the Pepperdine Waves. You're going to see some great movement. Watch Corpus with a miss. Interesting shot there. Front of the rim, rolls back. Look at Eric White follow. He comes back right here with a basketball, goes up strong with it, draws the foul, and he'll go to the line for 2.
A whole lot of guys are going to be above the rim in this game. That is for sure. Eric White, 78% free throw shooter. The foul, by the way, was on Terry Long. We may have a 3-lane violation here against Jeff Baxter.
If in fact we do, he gets another shot, Mike. He'll go back to the line now and shoot the 1-and-1. He gets the front end again.
Ron Zetcher explaining to Baxter what he did wrong, and White will have another throw.
You know, in NCAA play, when you establish your position on that free throw line, you're not allowed to move, and that's exactly what Baxter did. Now he gives Eric White another chance to score 2 points if he can make the first one.
And the free throw shooter is not allowed to get into the lane until the ball hits the backboard of the rim. So it's 2-1 now as Eric White puts in the free throw, and Lefty Drizel says, hey, wait a minute.
Oh, it's nice to be able to call him Lefty again.
Yes, it is. Charles G. Drizel, so we've got that taken care of. He's lefty, folks. It's 2-1 Maryland as Gatlin has it off for the Terps. Maryland an 18-13 record.
Pepperdine in a 2-3 zone right now, and Maryland trying to attack going to the inside.
Long shot along the baseline. Slapped up into the air. Frederick has it for Pepperdine. Dwayne Foley. Baxter comes up to challenge Foley. Corpus will run the ball club from that position. Posted up high. Frederick. Levy Middlebrooks sees a little opening there and puts it in. An 8-footer by Levy Middlebrooks.
Very little defensive intensity right there by Long. He just sort of waved at him as he went down the lane.
What a build on Levy Middlebrooks. Looks like Mr. America in there. Derek Lewis is fouled by Middlebrooks.
Well, that build just came crashing down on the back of Derek Lewis. Watch it again. Lewis with a great pump fake gets Middlebrooks up in the air. There's no question about the foul.
You would look at Levy Middlebrooks and say, boy, he pumps iron maybe 3 times a day. He does not. He is not a weightlifter, has never played football. God just gave him a great body. He's making the most of it at Pepperdine University this year. A 3-3 tie as Derek Lewis knots it here in the early going at the Long Beach Convention Center. Mike Walden and Larry Connolly with you. Lewis misses that second attempt. Foley has it. Dwayne Foley for the Pepperdine Waves. Baxter right on Foley.